Good afternoon and welcome to your weekly current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. It's always a delight to have you on the program, most especially when I'm aware that you are willing to spend your 60 minutes with me on the show. And for those of you who will be joining us later on, it's always a delight to have you on the program. My name is Egosa Agmonlao. I have with me very distinguished personalities. I have a legal practitioner in Edo State, Barrister Joshua Agbolagba. Nice to have you. And also have with us our respected clergyman and also an analyst, Dr. Roya Ayemere. Nice to have you with us today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so today's program is very, very pivotal to the development of Nigeria, because if we don't get it right, then surely Nigeria will be in the doldrums. Now, so many comments about the issue of the Chicago certificate of President Tinubu. Then, before you knew what was happening, there was again comments on the certificate of Abubakar Atiku, the PDP presidential candidate, who vehemently accused President Tinubu of forgery. Now, Atiku is being accused that his O-level certificate carries the name of Sadiq, and he has also been busy trying to exonerate himself and trying to explain. None have been found guilty because that of Tinubu, the Supreme Court, we are waiting for the judgment of the Supreme Court. So whatever people are saying is not relevant for now. We must wait for what the courts will do. And Obi, another prominent politician and presidential candidate of the Labour Party, also added his own comments to this issue of certificate forgery and all of that. A lot of problems have cropped up from this issue. Now, that's the essence. That's the reason we need to discuss it. That's the reason we need to dissect it. We are looking at the issue of the educational background and aspirants to public office. Those who are aspiring, although 2024 is fast approaching, we have aspirants, so many of them, from the different political parties, from the PDP, APC, Labour Party, so many. Now, it is the duty of the political parties to conduct primary elections where they will not get candidates. As in the case of the governorship candidate, they will not have their governorship candidate for 2024. Now, after that, it is also the duty of INEC to do its background checks. So my guests have a lot to talk about today, because if the different organs do their jobs correctly, appropriately, then we might not be having problems of litigations that has to do with educational background in law courts and after elections. I'm going to start with a legal practitioner in our midst who will give us his opening remarks on this issue. Joshua Agbolagba, what's your opening remarks regarding this problem?
Yeah, good afternoon, viewers. With regards to, talking about educational qualification of public office aspirants and holders, the Constitution expressly states in section that with regards to like the Constitution of a person running for the office of the governor or president or House of Assembly, House of Rep, Senate, the person should have, there are 4 points that the person needs to have, either of them, and that will make the person qualify. First one talks about a school leaving certificate. That's the SSC. For example, in Nigeria, that's the WAEC and NECO, NAPTEB, or it's equivalent. Or it's equivalent. When you talk about the equivalent, not talking about other, that goes to the interpretation section that talks about the equivalents, whereby it now states other schools that you might have attended, other certificates that you have done. For example, someone that has the primary school leaving certificate, he needs to have made sure that he has served in the public or private sector for 10 years at least 10 years. And then he needs to also show that he has gotten other certificates that have to do with that particular work or office that he has held for that period of 10 years.
Okay.
And also, if he's doing that, if he's bringing out the primary school certificate alone and wants to contest for office, then he has to now bring out all these other things that he has served for 10 years in either a private sector or public sector, and then he has gotten other experience as somebody that is in that office. And also, he must be proficient in English language, both writing and oral English, because that's the language of Nigeria, in quote and unquote, because that's the language of Nigeria. And then all those in public office also, communicate with the masses in English language. So he must show that. But speaking about the first criterion, which talks about person must be shown to have had the West African school certificate or its equivalent, or NECO. That's talking about school living certificate. So that's what the Constitution expressly states. So if you now go ahead to submit that to INEC, and then you now decide to add maybe your BSc degree or any other, your first degree or master's, then that's just an added advantage. With regards to the screening of INEC, what the Constitution expressly states is that the person must either have school living certificate or primary C certificate and other things which are earlier on listed. So that's what the Constitution expresses.
Thank you very much. I think that background is very important, so that Dr. Ayemere will just pick up from there. Dr. Ayemere, you are a leader of congregation. Now, there's this frenzy for degrees, like Barrister Agbalagba has just said. Now, for you to be interested in occupying a public office, you have your primary 6 school living certificate or your SSC, just but you find out that most of these politicians, they prefer to tender their university degrees, and before you know it, there are problems, litigations. People are accusing some of them, they don't have degrees, they don't have this, they don't have that, they didn't do NYC. Those kind of problems. So why this frenzy for these educational degrees?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
First and foremost, I think when it comes to leadership, in quotes,
yes,
our constitution, like Barrister rightly said, says school SAT. For me, morally speaking, somebody with secondary school certificate, you ask the person to come and lead a nation like Nigeria, there will be trouble. In the sense that leadership is not child's play. People who are canvassing for leadership position, they should not be bankrupt when it comes to mental strength. Yes, our politicians want to show that they have what it takes, because being a leader to lead a local government in Nigeria, you're talking about a state and a nation, and you are just coming, nobody will take you serious in the first place. Though the Constitution says that, they want to let people know that they are qualified. They have read for this thing, they have built capacity for it. I think that's the reason why we see them bringing out these certificates. But I think, on the other hand, if you are bringing a certificate, let the certificate be something that you actually merited, not the one that is otherwise. Thank you, sir.
Like when you say otherwise, I will not let you go. Like when you say the one you got otherwise. Now, that's a pregnant statement by Dr. Ayemere, and I know Nigerians are curious to know that which other certificate falls into the category of otherwise. Maybe you need to explain. Are you talking about certificates that are forged? Is that what you are talking about?
If you look at least you are a journalist.
Yes.
You are not stranger at this in this land. You are the people that get information even before us. You can see what is happening in Nigeria now. The challenge we have in Nigeria today is the certificate of otherwise. If I know the court will be there to prove it, but if I'm presenting a certificate for an office, it should be something that I know I went through the system. Even if anybody is going anywhere to say anything or do anything, at the end of the day, the school should be able to come out to defend that certificate and defend that, oh, this person actually went through the school, came out successfully, we actually gave him that certificate. So that is it. If it is not something that someone sat for, I call it otherwise.
Now, this is a very disturbing scenario. Yeah. Now, when those who aspire to become leaders are having problems with their certificates, educational certificates. Now, you have just explained in your opening remarks of the least qualification expected. Why don't they tender this least qualification? I know Dr. Emere said, for you to be a leader, you need to go above school set. But that's what the Constitution stated, that you can present a secondary school leaving certificate, that's WAEC and SSC or NECO, you know. So what you want to explain probably the reasons why Nigerians don't want to present their least certificates.
Yes, with regards to Nigerians having that, that mindset of that if they present that certificate, then like what doctor said, that if they present that certificate, like the basic certificates, then Nigerians may not really count them to be worthy of that position. Just imagine someone who says, I want to go for president, and then brings only primary school certificates. Even those people who are there will be like, even myself that did not even go to school, I can still be president also. You understand? So that's why most people tend to now go the extra mile to acquire certificates in various fields. Even some of them, they go and get certifications in various aspects of leadership and leadership schools and all those kind of things, institutions, even abroad, just to ensure that their CV is packed full. And so they can now relate with persons, and then even in the Committee of States, as the president, they can now relate with other persons, relate with other nations. Also, it just comes to the fact that we keep on hammering the point of the fact that most times persons don't really know what the Constitution states, and the Constitution in Nigeria is a ground norm. So whatever it states is final. But when the Nigerians, even those who are going for public offices, they have not gone through, the pains of looking at what that office they are going for entails, what they are supposed to do, the criteria they need to meet in order to vie for that position, and so many other things. For example, now there's an issue with regards to one of the person who is planning to be a governorship aspirant, and then they are saying he has ruled for, he was sworn in twice, even if not complete his tenure, 1 year.
Yes.
So imagine those kind of
things. We can mention that.
Yes. So
that's Silva.
Yes.
In Bayelsa State.
Yes, sir. Yes. So imagine that kind of situation now. So there's not the need for interpretation. That truly, if you have been sworn in twice, does Constitution mean that if you have been sworn in twice and you didn't complete your tenure, you can now be sworn in again? Or what happens? Yeah. So those are some of the things that I'll talk about. So that's why we always make sure that people read the Constitution. Like I always advocate that each Nigerian should try as possible to have a copy of the Constitution and just glance through it. Periodically, just go through it so that you know all these things. Like what I talked about, the interpretation section now regarding the Constitution, talking about the qualification, the academic qualification of aspirants to public office.
Yes.
Some people don't even know about the fact that somebody who has served 10 years in the public or private sector and has only primary school certificate is qualified to run for office. So by the time you say that now, you say, no, that might not even run for office because only primary school you get. But the Constitution has expressly stated that you are free to run for office. So I will tell Nigerians that we should try as possible to look at issues holistically and dissect them holistically, and not bring in sentiments. Most times, sentiments that cause all these things, and then you see that even those who are supposed to be who are seen to be, or who are supposed to be seen to be well-read, fall into the quagmire of coming into the arena and then discussing things that they are not even aware of.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emere. Now, looking at this problem of certificate forgery. Now, is it moral decadence, or is it something that society has now approved? Because you find out that there are even some youths now, they don't bother about going to classes. They may be in the university, they will not attend classes, they will just be, enjoying themselves in town, and some of them are members of congregation, that you are a leader. You meet with them, you meet with different human beings, let me put it that way. So, how do we curb this problem?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
First and foremost, let me respond to, let me just add to some of the things he said. People drafted our constitution.
Okay.
And those who drafted it, maybe to favor a particular section
of
the nation, came up with that notion of school start. I'm not disputing the Constitution. The Constitution is what I call the Bible.
Okay.
That Nigerians we read and we live with.
Yes.
All right. But I think for me it should be revisited, because if somebody wants to lead Nigeria, number one, you have to be mentally sound.
Okay.
You have to be physically sound.
Okay.
You have to have that strength, the sagacity, because leading a nation like Nigeria and somebody is not that sound is a problem.
Okay.
To even lead a family unit is a big challenge. Not to talk of leading a nation of about 200 million people. Now, coming to your question,
yes.
If you look at what is happening today, our youths, majority of them do not want to work. They don't want to go to school. Why? Because the way the environment is, those who went to school, they have returned home, no job. We have people in our congregation, some after graduating from school, you see them trying to learn one vocational skill and the rest of that. You see them opening one shop, small shop here, opening the other small shop there. And somebody is now thinking, I'll just carry 5 years of my life and give it to an institution that when I return, no job. So we still return to our political leaders, the atmosphere they have created. But that does not justify the means to begin to forge certificate. At the same time, it does not justify the means for somebody not to go to school, because you can actually take away anything from anybody, not knowledge. Not knowledge.
Dr. Emere, I seem to have a keen interest in asking you to comment further. Now, there is this recent question that so many people have been asking. But it has to do with the youths again. Some youths believe that education is a scam. Now, can you comment on that? Can you dissect that? Is education a scam?
First and foremost,
okay,
to say that education is a scam, that person is living in false paradise.
Okay.
Because in this 21st century, knowledge is the currency. So the challenge we have in this part of the world is that we want to go to school so that we can work, not to go to school to learn. If we go to school to learn, by now we'll have serious engineers who will be building cars. Look at our roads, for example. We still bring in people from outside the country to come and handle contracts. We go to school because with this mentality of if I graduate, I should get a job. School actually is to prepare you for your future, because the knowledge you acquire can't sustain you anywhere. You can't live with it anywhere. You can travel anywhere in the world and you live fine. School is never a scam and can never be a scam. If Jesus himself, who is the master of wisdom himself, the Bible says he grew in wisdom, he grew in knowledge, he grew in understanding. Who are we not to grow in knowledge? So school is not a scam. I encourage every youth in Nigeria, starting from Edo State, let's take education serious. Give a child education, the child survive anywhere, can be sustained anywhere. Giving a child education is better than giving the child money.
Before I allow Barrister Agbalagba to comment on that, because he's a clear example of an educated man.
Yes.
A learned, they call you guys learned, learned colleague. Or learned okay, before I allow him comment, now, in your church and in other churches you've seen, you must have seen youths who are flamboyant, driving exotic cars. And some of these youths are less than 25. Some of them less than 20. Driving JLK Mercedes-Benz SUV. And they are not graduates. So don't you think that informs others to say, oh, education is a scam. This guy he didn't acquire university education, and look at him now, he's flamboyant. You want to comment on that? And some pastors accept offerings from these people, accept these people to be members of their churches. Not only churches, other religious organizations as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
It is one of the tragedy
okay.
that we have seen in this 21st century, in our time. I said that because wealth that you cannot explain the source of income is poisonous. Not just to the individual, to the society at large. Because even to God, anything you want to get from him, you have to merit it. All right? Somebody, for example, in the church where I pastor, I know somebody who asked for the church account and sent money to the church account. One of my members, a lady. I know the business she does. I know her capacity. When I saw the money, I didn't make any comment. I have to call her. This money you sent, where did you get it from? How did you get it? Because I know what you do. How did you get it? She then told me somebody gifted her. I know she may be watching now. Somebody gifted her, and from that gift, she had to pay, you know. That is it, because if we begin to put them to check.
But how many pastors will do what you have just done?
That's the challenge. That's the challenge, because let me not go there. Let me just focus on because so that is it. A lot of people want success without sweating. That's not a due process, because even God in the Garden of Eden gave man work before wife. So anybody who wants to live flamboyant life without working, whether be a thief, a ritualist, at the end of the day, the person will even shorten his own life. So it's not a route I will canvas for our youth to follow at all.
Thank you very much. Yes, before we take a break, Barrister Joshua, you belong to the youth, and it's good that you are a legal practitioner. What I'm saying is not strange to you. Some persons, especially the youths, they are flamboyant. They like to drive in JLK and very luxury cars. Okay, but we'll just take a break before we allow Joshua Agbolagba to comment. Okay, so it's a delight to have you back on the program. It is 60 Minutes Nigeria once again. Thanks for being a part of the program, for spending your 60 minutes with us. We would have had our guests from the US via Zoom, but we're having a technical problem with the connection. But he has just said that he would have really loved to be with us. So by God's grace, next week, Thursday, we should have Peter Esson with us on the program via Zoom from the US. Okay, now, Barrister Agbolagba was about commenting on this scenario, the mindset of some of our youths who believe that education is a scam. Dr. Ayimere has said, no, education is not a scam. That you should go to school not with the mindset of wanting to use your educational qualifications just to get a job, but you should learn. You should be transformed. In the local palace, they say, when you go to school, allow school to go through you.
That's right.
You know, that's what Dr. Ayimere has just said. But let's get the thought of a legal practitioner who is a youth, and I think the youth will listen to him. Barrister Agbolagba, is education a scam?
With all due respect, that question is even funny, because I believe anybody that says education is a scam, before you can even say something is a scam, you need education to understand the meaning of the word scam. So if you don't have the education, how can you even understand what you are saying by mentioning education by saying education as a scam? Obviously, education is not a scam. And when we talk about education not being a scam, it doesn't just actually have to do with the tertiary education. It has to do with every form of education in life, both religious, social, economical, tertiary and otherwise. Besides, some persons have education and they can't even, stand with their education because they don't know how to relate with people. So then again, human relations is gotten via education. So that's why you need education, and that's why you have, even when you go to a tertiary school, a tertiary institution, there are courses that have to do with general studies and social psychology and those kind of courses. Those courses might not really be, related directly with what you are studying. For example, imagine someone that's studying engineering having to do social psychology, those kind of things. You might wonder, why am I doing this? But then again, if as an engineer you cannot relate with your clients, you cannot speak well, you cannot talk to your clients, then how will you be able to tell them that you can actually do the job, get the job done? Imagine someone comes to your office and tells you he needs a software, and then you cannot even tell him that this software will cost so amount, or this is the reason why you think this software should work well in its own place. So when we talk about education not being a scam, it goes beyond just going to the four walls of a tertiary institution and gaining knowledge. It goes beyond that. Education is not a scam, and then I would advise each and every one of us to at least get that education. Before you can even say something is a scam, you must have tried it first of all. So you cannot say education is a scam and then decide not to go to school. Go to school first. Because at the end of the day, when any opportunity comes and then they ask you for your educational qualifications, if you have it, all you have to do is just to pick it up and submit it. But if you don't have it, then that's when you start running helter-skelter. But if you have it, there's no problem. For example, now with the issue we have with the presidential aspirants of the PDP and then the president from APC, talking about that, okay, I went to school, I didn't go to school, and then at the end of the day, they went through rigors to provide the certificates, and then the school in Chicago actually said, okay, he graduated from this school. Just imagine he didn't graduate from the school. Imagine what it would have been to now finally find out that the president lied about going to Chicago State University and then he didn't have the qualification. Imagine what it would have been. But because he had it, so even despite the fact that they were dragging him left, right, and center, he still stood his ground and said he had it, and now we are waiting for the Supreme Court to give a verdict on that. But the school has already sent down their reply that he actually did go to the school. And just with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP, also talked about the fact that he used a different name to enroll for WAEC, and then subsequently,
just imagine.
Yeah, and then subsequently, now when he changed the name, now started using that name for the university degrees and other degrees. But by the time you merge everything together, you saw that one of the names was actually constant in the certificates. And so if he didn't go to school, for example, that would have been an issue again. So no matter how we want to downplay the importance of education, it will always come to the fore that education is always important. And the best legacy a parent can give to his or her child is to give him or her education, quality education for that matter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Dr. Ayomeri, now back to our discussion. Is it that the political parties are not doing their job properly? They are not doing thorough investigation, background checks on aspirants that is leading to problems that we're having. It's not just about President Tinubu or Atiku. We've had cases.
We have.
Yes, so many cases, of some highly placed person being accused of forging their educational certificates. So, don't you think political parties have a job to do here?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
We've had cases. Even there was a time in this nation, somebody was already practicing parade of swearing ceremony when a judgment came that he has been disqualified. Somebody who has been elected as a governor being disqualified because of his deputy. I'm talking about David Leon, Bayelsa. You see, the challenge we have is that in all of this, because the people that political parties throw to the public, that's where we decide to pick one from.
Okay.
I think the political parties, what we find today is more of like cash and carry. The man that have the highest bag gets the day.
Bag of what?
You know what I'm talking about now. Because as it is,
money bags.
Exactly. The one that have the highest bag gets it, because as it is, as a political party, if at the end of the day, the candidate you threw up is now having issues on this, number one, it brings distrust to that party. Because you're supposed to do your thorough finding. Leave INEC alone. INEC does not have the power to disqualify a candidate, to do that and the rest of that, because it is, as you submit, whatever you submit to them, go to the court and prove your case. Though I'm not a lawyer, the lawyer is here. But political parties, they should do their job. It is their duty to scrutinize. As a matter of fact, who is this person that wants to be the governor? For example, 2024 is around the corner now.
Yes. And so many people are showing interest now.
Who is this person that wants to govern Edo people? Where is he coming from? Who is his father? Who is his mother? Where has he worked before? We want to know his track record. Because for me, somebody should not begin public office with governorship seat. It's too high. Begin from councillor, begin from local government chairman, begin from House of Assembly, go and gain experience. To start as a governor, you want to be a politician, you just say, I want to become a governor. For me, I don't like that. Political parties should look into that aspect and begin to scrutinize. And whatever they submit, do your investigations, do your findings. So that at the end of the day, somebody should not be sworn in and time to begin to serve Nigerians while we are being distracted with one thing or the other. Because whether you like it or not, now the president is giving his attention now how to, how this can be solved, how that can be solved. But look at this Chicago's whatever. It's a big distraction. Nigerians today are not even concentrating on governance anymore. It's on the issue of this. Before you know, 1 year is over. 2 years is over. And in this country, once it's 2 years after in one administration, the next thing is the next election. Work stop and everything stops. So political parties have to do their job. I am pleading to Edo people that this election that is coming, let's look at both political parties. Let's look at candidates, what they have to offer. Let's forget it's my tribe, it's from my place. Let's look at credibility. Let's look at history. Let's look at track record. Let's look at the capability to deliver. As it is now, we need a deliverer, not even a governor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ayemere Agbolagba. Now, back to our topic. He has just made his comments. This problem is really disturbing. It's really disturbing. How do we curb it?
Yeah, with regards to, it all boils down to the fact that we need to reorientate the minds of the youths, because it starts from the youth, and the youth grow up to become the elders who now run for office and all those. And then with regards to the fact that the Constitution now has even reduced the age for political office, for candidates that can vie political office, like for the House of Assembly, 25 years, for governor, 35 and so. So it means that now it is gradually coming home. And so a 25-year-old man or woman is eligible to run for the House of Assembly of the state. So that means that that person, the Constitution believes that somebody at 25 years should have finished school, to at least most likely finished school, gotten his degree, and they must have had 1 or 2 years of experience. Yeah, so it boils down to the fact that now people must try as possible to take education seriously, because it all boils down to the fact that when those are willing to take education seriously now, when they take it seriously and then they are able to garner experience for themselves, subsequently in life, those are the persons that will now come out to run for offices. And then you see those who didn't take their life seriously will now start complaining that this person, is he the only one? Is he the father? So I keep on telling people that when you say this person's father or this person's son, the father made the opportunity for him to become governor, if that's the fact that the father took him to school, made sure that he went to school. So the parents should also ensure that their children and their wards are properly educated, so that they would be able to, come hand in hand with the children of the elites in the society. So no matter how we want to talk about it, or want to discredit them, it all boils down to the fact that it is the persons who are qualified or seem to be qualified that will eventually hold offices. Like what the former House of Reps speaker was talking about, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila. He talked about the fact that the Constitution should be, should be upgraded. They should fine-tune it to now make sure that, okay, the qualifications for office holders should be something substantial, maybe at least a university degree or something like that. Right. Since the BSc now is not like the basic education minimum qualification that most persons have in Nigeria now as it stands. Some people even have masters, and even when you have masters, people are going towards PhD. So it means that Nigeria has developed far beyond the area of saying somebody that has primary school certificate or secondary school certificate. Now we should be talking about someone that has a BSc or its equivalent, LLB, MBBS, and those kind of degrees, should now be able to vie for office. Because when we are talking about that, like what he said, that we have to, field candidates who can stand on par with the international community, whereby when they come, we can discuss with them, we can brainstorm and then exchange ideas, and then make Nigeria to move forward in the long run. That's
okay.
very important.
Yeah, before I let you go, now looking at the duties of political parties, now to avoid this kind of scandalous issues, to avoid these problems, don't you think political parties should do a thorough job before they present candidates that were made? Because aspirants will have to emerge from primaries.
That's right.
So don't you think the political parties should do a thorough job?
Yeah, definitely. Political parties have a large, role to play with regards to this issue that we're currently facing. Because, I'll just take your mind back to the aspect of the ministerial nominee screening, and how some persons were told to take a bow due to the antecedents.
Okay.
So it might be that the political parties also felt for someone to have served as governor, served as vice president, served as a minister, served as this and that. Definitely he should be qualified, quote unquote. But like they say in law, there has to be evidence and concrete evidence, direct or circumstantial evidence to show that this person actually is qualified. So that's why even when you see that somebody that has run for office before was already a governor or was already a minister in the previous administration, he comes out to this administration now and then they are talking about his certificate. That means when he ran for the office at that time, what happened? So it shows
that's $1 million question.
Yes, so it shows that something is wrong somewhere. So the political parties have to actually conduct their due diligence and not just give out their tickets to anybody who is willing to pay money. Yeah, so we should transfer to feel, which in every state, in every local government, there are persons who are more than qualified to hold these offices if we are being true to ourselves. So we should give those persons the opportunity to do that, and then maybe Nigeria will be better for it.
Thank you very much. I'll just move straight now to Dr. Ayumeri. Both of you, in your comments, there's something that you mentioned. It has to do with, especially Brother Agbolagba just mentioned it, the issue of money. You talked about money bags. So the love or the crave for money, don't you think it has blighted credibility, it has blighted the reasoning of most Nigerians? Most Nigerians just believe that when you have money, it means you are successful. For instance now, if you're having any job, you don't have a car, you are still trekking in local palace, you are using your Legacy Benz, but you have something upstairs, you have academic prowess, you are knowledgeable, you are sound. The society seems not to respect you. But the other young man who can attend a family meeting with a Lexus car or with a luxury car, but without academic certificates or degrees, seem to get a standing ovation. Is that not the situation in Nigeria?
Wow. It is what we are seeing, but it ought not to be. Because where we find ourselves today, where we celebrate mediocrity, we allow the worst to rule over the best. Some of these things lead to it. Because when we major on the minor, things like this begin to happen. And minor on the major. For me, success is beyond money.
Okay.
A child who wants to write WAEC, success for that child is to pass that exam at that point, at different level of life. Success can mean different things to different people. So, but for somebody who is supposed to be in school and he said he wants to drive a car, that's abnormal. All right, I want to live a flamboyant life, I want to become a landlord. That's not it. That's why the society today is not balanced. It's not. I think it is time that we begin to do the right thing and do the needful. It is not about money. It's not about money. It took me time to get my first car. I pastored for years. I labored. It took me time. So, and as a matter of fact, I want to counsel those who are in that class now, who feel that because they don't have a car, the world is like not working. It's not so. There are things you possess on the inside. You know that tomorrow is better. You know that tomorrow is bright. It's not about today. It's about tomorrow. As a matter of fact, there were people who killed people, who did rituals to buy Santana car in those days. Where is Santana today? Where is even the Benz? That old Benz?
Yes.
So
Benz 200.
Life is not about what you have, material things.
Okay.
No, it's about what you possess, the internal qualities. So I think when we should begin to give attention to these things. Material things, they come and they go. Those who understand life, you should know that it's not about being materialistic. There's a dimension you get to in life. You know that no. We should begin to focus on the real things. It's not materialistic.
Okay. Barrister Agbolagba, so you still stick to the fact that education is priceless. Education is most important. Because we've seen, especially amongst the youth, I keep talking about the youths. Because in the 80s, we did WAEC. That's what we did. We didn't do SSC, you know. That time, you hardly see any, you know, we trek from our school to our homes.
With joy.
With joy. Sometimes we trek with speed, as if then this trekking was not even a recognized sport event. But in Benin, we were doing it.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Ayimere said, with joy. You know, you see the youths want to trek home. So if anytime your father, I remember my dad drives to my secondary school that time to pick me, hey, I'm like a hero amongst the other students, you know. He wasn't doing that all the time, but once in a while, he had him just, you know, I have that privilege. But when it's not that, just trek. And I do with joy. I don't even see it. But now you see a man or a young man, less than 20, driving a GLK, driving a luxury car. So how do we change this scenario? Because it's affecting even our leaders. That's why the issue of education qualification comes in. So many of them are not really having that interest in acquiring degrees, you know. So how do we solve this?
Yeah, it boils down to the fact that we need the reorientation of the minds of the youth. But then again, the difficulty comes in where the persons who have been able to, you know, acquire this education do not even have something substantial to do at the end of the day.
That's what I said.
So how do you now justify persons who now you say they have gone to school, they have acquired education, and then you say education is the best legacy, and then someone who has education cannot even feed? So how do you now solve this issue? So it all boils down to the fact that the government needs to make policies that would celebrate those who have been able to burn the midnight candle and then acquire knowledge and acquire education. Should celebrate them and give them opportunities to, you know, serve in offices and positions and even parastatals and bring out the best in them from themselves to make sure Nigeria is better for it. By the time people see that, okay, this person has gone to school, he has opportunity to meet the president, has opportunity to work with the governor, has opportunity to work with this minister, then they too will be willing and be spurred also to garner education. But by the time they feel that this person that has gone to school, see him there, someone that has PhD is teaching in primary school, is earning 25,000. So why should I be wasting my time? The money I used to go and get masters and PhD, will I not go and do other things and get a laptop and then go into crime? So those are some of the issues that we keep on talking about. It's not just blaming the youth. Definitely, it's not good to do that. There's no justification for crime. No matter what you do,
That's right.
There's no justification for crime.
That's right.
When it comes to the law courts, if you like, say because you were hungry, you went to steal. If the judge this and they are found out that you are guilty, you will go down for it. There's no reason of it because my leg was paining me. That was what. We don't have all those kind of nonsense. We don't take that. But then again, coming to day-to-day, you know, relations with persons.
Yes.
I believe that if the government does things to show that those who have acquired education and have expertise, and when I say acquired education, not just tertiary education.
That's right.
There are those who are you know, craftsmen, artisans, and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Vocational skill, and those persons, for example, like myself now, I don't think I can now come now and then start molding blocks or I might do nonsense. Despite the fact that I'm a lawyer, I might not be able to. So it's not just saying, okay, because I'm a lawyer, so I should be able to do everything. The people manning the camera, I cannot go there now and man the camera. Maybe I'll turn it upside down, they will be seeing the ceiling. But those people that have the skill, they should be celebrated and should be given the opportunity to shine. So that's where it comes into play, that the government should try as possible to, you know, make opportunities available for each and every youth in the society to find themselves in a good place so that they can serve the nation. Then we'll see that the nation will become a better place for it.
Thank you very much. Your closing remarks, Dr. Ayimere?
I want to say that let's do the right thing. Let's, if you are going for an office, the certificates you are presenting to the public, to INEC, please let it be something you merited. And I want to tell the youth categorically that education is not a scam. Barrister is here today because he's a barrister because he went to school. Gosa is a journalist because he went to school. I'm a doctor because I went to school. All right? So education is not a scam. And I want to say this, that youth, let's shun illegal acts of making money. It does, listen, the money you get when you go through the normal process, you enjoy it more than money you just get from around the corner. Please, let's make Nigeria work. It can really work if we want it to work, and we really want to do the work, this country will work.
Thank you very much. Thank you. A brief one, closing remark, Dr. Barrister Agbolagba.
Yeah, okay, definitely. I believe that the youths are willing to, put in their best. And so I believe what I would just say is that the government and other private individuals should try as possible to give the youth opportunities. I know a lot of my friends who are tech savvy and they can do things that even those who are, abroad, they learn from them also. So I have friends that are into photography and those kind of things, and they can man drones and do all those kind of things. So the government should create opportunities for each and everyone in the society to be able to put in their best and show their expertise in whatever area they have been able to garner experience in. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's the program for this week. 60 Minutes Nigeria, you'll agree with me, has been very, very interesting and educative, as I've always promised. And I must say that my guests have been very prolific, and they've been able to dissect the topic very well. I want to thank Dr. Roya Emere, a clergyman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
A legal practitioner in our midst, Barrister Joshua Agbolagba. Thank you very much.
You,
and I must thank you too for spending your 60 minutes with us. But for our youths who have the erroneous concepts that education is a scam, now you've heard that education is not a scam. Education is not just about the paper certificate. Education is about you getting or gaining knowledge. Knowledge that will transform your mind. So you'll not be behaving like an animal. You'll be behaving as someone that is refined. Then there's what we call rational and irrational behavior. For those of you who did philosophy, rational and irrational behavior. Now, if you are educated, you'll be able to take right decisions. So you are rational. If you are taking wrong decisions, you are irrational. So Plato would say that the mind is a plate. Philosopher called Plato. Okay, so that's the program. If you enjoyed it, keep a date with us. By God's grace, next week, Thursday, we'll be looking at another national issue. Do have a wonderful weekend ahead. Bye-bye.